piece together at the very end and see what's going on. And I just want to just say real clear to the press. I mean, let's not dissect this to the point where, the free speech people invited Black Lives Matter to speak. Our job is to make sure people are safe tomorrow. Our job is to make sure that people that come into the city of Boston that want to express their free speech are safe tomorrow. Our job is to make sure that as the peace rally enters into Boston Common, that the folks that come in there feel safe, that we don't have an incident that happened like last week in Virginia. We want to make sure they have the opportunity to be able to be safe and be free. As the commissioner said, and all the public safety officials, if you're looking to start trouble, regardless who you are tomorrow, don't come to Boston. We don't want you here. This free speech, so-called free speech rally, I mean, this says some hurt. Some of the people speaking have said some very hurtful things about the Jewish community, about the African American community, about a whole bunch of other communities. I don't want them here. Let me be clear. I do not want them here. If I could have not had them here with a permit, I absolutely would not have given them a permit if I didn't have to give them a permit. We don't need that type of rhetoric going on in Boston Common. We've come too far. As I said earlier, 3 gentlemen spoke from that bandstand they're going to be at tomorrow: Frederick Douglass, President Obama, and Martin Luther King Jr. Those messages were not of hate in a very different time. We don't need a handful of people who think they're
Burn that shit. Burn that shit. Let that shit burn. Yeah, burn that flag. Burn that shit out of here. That's a fault. Yo, actually, stop that. Where's the freedom of speech? You hypocrite.
Nobody's saying you can't speak. We're just saying you're being assholes. Yes. You know what I mean? No one's saying you're not allowed to speak.
It's ignorance. It's ignorance. It's unfortunate because that's what it is. It's ignorance. It's ignorance. I'm not here to start up nothing. I just want to ask some questions. I would like answer. I've never had one of them this close or up front and just telling me, "Yo, this is what it is." I'm serious. It's a thing. This is not something that happens every day. And if it does, it only happens because we don't know that it's them. Where are your ancestors? Not America. None of our ancestors are from America.
My ancestors are from Spain.
Okay.
Native American. But when I grew up, we didn't have color. We had friends.
Okay, maybe where you were at, but you know that this was like an ongoing problem around the entire country, right? But what has changed? It makes you sick. It makes me sad. Back up from her. Back up from her. Back up from her. Back up from her. Why did they put their hands on me? Because I was holding my flag, and you probably put your hands on the mic and look at this young man right here. Why do you expect anybody to have sympathy for you when you do stuff like that?
And it's not because I don't know, because I'm not part of it.
I am sorry. Deeply, honestly, from my heart, I'm sorry that happened to you. But that's not us. It's not. We don't have to agree. But we can.
Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! No Trump! No KKK! No fascist USA!
Should not confront these rallies. So we're urging everyone to stay away from the Common. At the same time, we can't look away. The children of our city are watching. And I want everyone who goes to the Common tomorrow to understand that. The young people of our city are watching TV, are following this. We have to make it clear what we stand for in the city of Boston. We have to support those who are targeted, and we have to stand together in unity. And we ask everyone to help us promote peace. Be safe. There's a chance of lightning tomorrow and thunderstorms in the morning, so we want you to watch out for that. Be smart. Do not bring backpacks, sticks, or anything that can be construed as a weapon, we will take them from you. Be aware, the Boston Common Garage, the Swan Boats, the Frog Ponds will all be closed due to public safety. There will also be we will not have a rally on City Hall Plaza tomorrow. I'll be spending most of my day, as I do every Saturday, out in the neighborhoods.
Everybody, this is democracy.
What is every single person? Most of the police officers have family in the military that died protecting people like you.
Nazi scum! Nazi scum! Nazi scum! Nazi scum! Nazi scum! Nazi scum! Nazi scum!
You're a fucking piece of shit! You're a fucking piece of shit! Fucking scum!
Well, it's a free speech rally. Speak! Speak!
Speak!
Speak, motherfucker, speak!
We just want to know what you stand for, man.
We want to. Why you're here.
We want to understand where you're coming from. If you're coming with that hate.
You said free speech. Shut
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's why we making sure he good. We making sure he get home tonight. He good. You know that.
What happened? What is he arrested for, yo? What is he arrested for?
If you decide to come to Boston Common, we ask you to be peaceful, because tomorrow's march is in response to the hate that happened last weekend in Virginia. We don't respond hate with hate. We respond hate with peace. We want people to be civil, and we want everyone to make sure that we make Boston proud. The last thing I'd like to say to the media, we need you to help us. Don't give them the coverage that they're looking for. Instead, focus on Boston's unity.
Organizers say they have been mischaracterized, and those who are speaking at the rally are from a wide range of viewpoints. But still, the timing of it all, coming just days after the Charlottesville violence, is what's creating pause here and other groups planning rallies of peace. It's 3 days away, and still the unknown has many concerned about what could transpire on the Boston Common Saturday.
I simply do not see how the event on Saturday can go forward.
Brandon Navom is one of several scheduled speakers for the free speech rally who now has a change of heart.
I am completely concerned for the city of Boston.
But co-organizer John Medler says there's no need to be.
Our purpose of the event is to try to promote essentially a message of unity by coming together around our core constitutional values.
He says white supremacists are attempting to hijack the rally via social media, inaccurately linking it to the groups involved in the Charlottesville violence.
The groups that are trying to instigate such violence, like Identity Europa, Vanguard, the KKK, neo-Nazis, all of that stuff, we completely condemn all of that.
Only WBZ cameras were in Roxbury Tuesday as members of the NAACP and faith community plan a peace rally.
White supremacists who are okay with being public now feel emboldened and protected by the person in the White House.
And that's what they're hoping for, peace and unity.
We want people to feel empowered, that they can stand up for what's right, stand up for love, stand up for Charlottesville.
While Boston officials are on the ready for whatever or whoever may come.
USA! USA!
Again, the group has secured a permit. They tell us Boston police will set up a physical barrier between the free speech participants and others who plan to rally. They also say police are not allowing weapons or anything that could be used as a weapon.
I think it's really sad that humanity has, and America especially, has degraded to such a low level. Like, why could we succumb to hate? I think it's time to come together and fight against it and fight for good, and yeah.
Gotcha. So what are you hoping will come about today? Because just not even a mile away, there's going to be a protest that's totally against what you guys are standing for.
I just want to fight against the white supremacists who think that it's okay to say such bad things about people of color and Muslims and anyone that's a minority, from a minority group. So in general, I just want to fight against them, and I do not want them to, rise above us, and I want love to just go everywhere.
Gotcha. Thank you so much, Maysoon. So that's the thoughts from someone that's coming into school in this area.
I'm going to show you something I found here. You see this little gazebo with the red line around it? I think you can see the cursor on my screen. That is the people that are being protested that held the original rally. All of this crap out here, all that massive crowd, the 20,000, those are all the counter protesters that showed up. And there was an ad, you can see here, Crowds on Demand. They ran ads in Craigslist in Boston, and they were advertising paying people anywhere from $16 up to $25 an hour. You do a little search on Twitter or YouTube, there's other people that are already putting those up, so I'm not going to bother to waste my time digging through it. But I did see them myself. But this, you can even go here and request a quote. You can request a quote. How can they help you to make your little fake paid protest? Your home for protest, rallies, PR stunts, celebrity events. And it's all paid for by the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce. They got an address out in California, Beverly Hills. More manipulation of the American public by Hollywood. You can dig through here, but if you look into these guys, you're going to find out they're getting their money from Soros. That's where it comes from. Again, same guy that destabilized, 13, 14 governments over in Eastern Europe. The guy's horrible. So, not all, but most of these people that are over here, this massive crowd, a significant number of them are paid. So they're all there with their little signs claiming that they're anti-fascist and all that. Well, who are these big bad fascists that are in this little tiny gazebo? About 20, 25 people that are in this little gazebo. This is that Indian guy, which some people have called him black because he's so dark, but he's not a black guy, he's just a very dark Indian. The one that's running for office against Pocahontas. And what are they doing that's so bad? Well, one guy has a sign here for real jobs, health, and education. Oh wow, that's horrible. Antifa needs to get on that. Black lives do matter. Oh, that sounds really racist. BLM's out here in this crowd. You can find video of BLM. All those horrible Nazis, those terrible racists. So they're out there, kill whitey, kill cops. And what are the people inside actually saying? Black lives matter. That they do matter. So, what the left is pushing on you and the reality is two different things. Here you got a person about no GMOs to stop Monsanto, which is a real issue. These folks are a small part of the free speech rally. I think they had, on top of these 25, about 300 out in these crowds, running around. But this is what was so bad, that all these so-called counter-protesters had to show up to protest the free speech of the people in the gazebo. They called them Nazis, they called them white racists, they call them fascists, Well, who's the real fascist? The definition of fascism is that you're oppressing and trying to silence your opponent and you're for big government. Well, what is it that Antifa and Black Lives Matter wants? They want a big government that pays them a stipend or pays for their health care or gives them freebies in some other way. They want to shut up all these people in the gazebo, so they're trying to silence their opposition. Who fits the definition of fascism? Antifa and BLM. BLM is on record. I got a couple things I could pop up, of all these things that they want from white people, demonizing all white people as if anybody's responsible for what their great-great-granddad did.
Monday, the governor and I made it very clear we don't want hate groups to come to our city or our state. We will not tolerate any incitements of violence. We are taking every precaution necessary to keep our city safe. I have the utmost confidence in our public safety officials to keep us safe. They have a comprehensive plan in place, which the Secretary and the Commissioner will describe in more details in a few moments. There's been questions about why we granted a permit for the rally tomorrow. The courts have made it abundantly clear. They have the right to gather, no matter how repugnant their views are. But if we don't have the right to create an unsafe they don't have the right to create an unsafe conditions. So we're going to respect their right of free speech. In return, they must respect our city. The Boston Police Department has met with the Boston Free Speech Coalition to work on a safe pathway forward. They've agreed to specific rules for a rally on Boston Common. If anything gets out of hand, we will shut it down.
They tried to stop us today, didn't they? Yeah. But, we weren't cowed down. And I will always stand up for all of you. And all of us here, in many ways, are true patriots. Because we, in spite of that noise out there, we're here to stand up for something very fundamental, which is called free speech. And let me tell you that they tried to prevent me from coming here, as you may have heard in the media. They asked me why I associated myself with all of you guys, even though they have no idea who you or we are. Do they? No. They don't know anything about us. And they've never asked these questions to real racists. Did any one of them ask the numerous people who shared the stage with Joe Biden? Let me remind you about Joe Biden. He's a guy who said Obama, which many of those people support, is the first clean, quote-unquote clean and articulate black man. He's a racist. But no one asked about that, did they? Did any one of them ask who shared the stage with Harry Reid? Let me remind you, Harry Reid's a person who claimed that Obama was tolerable to Democrats only because he's half white and suppresses his Negro accent. Right? They never questioned Obama or anyone about that. Did any one of them question who shared the stage with Jimmy Carter? And let me remind everyone about this. Carter's the one who said we need ethnically pure neighborhoods. That sounds like a white supremacist to me, doesn't it? Yeah. The establishment is what's infested with racists, not us. I don't see any racists here. I see black people, I see Chinese people, I see people of all different spectrums here. Hillary Clinton stereotyped and mocked my people, Indians. You can go see the YouTube video in a very offensive manner. Just go look at it. She mocked Mahatma Gandhi, who's one of the icons of India. She's the one who has never denounced Robert Byrd. Has she? Robert Byrd is a member of the KKK, a white supremacist, and is absolutely unacceptable that a group who lynched black people and hanged them from trees is put on a statue. Is that right? Has anyone ever denounced Hillary? Has anyone asked anybody why Hillary Clinton shares a stage with them? Now, I know as a person of color and as a member, to anyone seeing this, as a member of the Indian low caste untouchables. You see, you won't find a lot of Indians like me here because my parents were considered low caste. Lower caste than most of those people out there who don't even know what it means to be that. And the examples I've provided you are not cherry-picked for a few isolated cases among establishment politicians. Racism seems to be a way of their life, not our lives. Harry Truman let me remind you, is a guy who said that I think one man is just as good as another man as long as he's honest, decent, and he used the N-word, or a Chinaman. Harry Truman said that. And then you have Lyndon Johnson, who said that there is also the case of Lyndon Johnson promising that he would have voting Democrats for the next 200 years. Ever remember this? That's what the establishment politicians do. Yes, the reality is black lives do matter, don't they? They do matter. Black lives do matter. And those people want to segregate that notion. We all know black lives do matter. None of us here has denied that. All lives matter, but black lives also matter. White lives matter, but we support those people who want to fight against that. We're not racist, but what is disgusting is that reporters like John Keller, who presents himself as a Democrat, as a liberal, he called me a right-wing nut job and a white supremacist. He's a nut job. He's fake news and doesn't believe in free speech because they want to narrow the discussion to a very limited way. Now, I will never support someone who calls black children super predators, will we?
Nope.
Will we support anyone who calls black people super predators?
Never Hillary.
Who says they need to be brought to heel? Well, that's what Hillary Clinton did. So black lives do matter, and we need to lock her up and the establishment who are super predators of everyday people. They divide and rule us. We're here today as patriots of America. We're not confused by the reality. And let me remind everyone here in Massachusetts, Elizabeth Warren supported super predator Hillary Clinton.
Yes, she did.
She did, right?
Oh, yeah.
Let's remember that. Let's remember who the real racists are, and this is coming from a person of color. Now, what I've shared with you is something that you will not hear in mainstream media. Will you? Has anyone heard any of this? Has anyone ever denounced Hillary Clinton in mainstream media? But it is the truth, is it not? And free speech, which is what we're here about, is a bedrock of America. This is why my parents left India. A low-caste guy like myself would never be able to speak out like this. And anyone can say whatever they want, and we don't have to listen to them, right? I remember at Harvard Square, people used to put up a soapbox and talk. No one attacked them. No one brutalized them. No one threw acid at them. You walked away. That's America, is it not?
Yeah.
But there are those who manipulate also free speech for slander and libel, and that's what big media does. They talk about free speech, but they can character assassinate you, call you a Nazi, a racist. But let me remind you that the Supreme Court has also ruled that we have libel and slander laws. We can sue them, and some of us will sue them, because the Supreme Court has ruled that slander, and false statements are not allowed under the First Amendment. Is that not right? So we have protection. I've sued Gawker Media, some of you know. Hulk Hogan sued them, and we took them down. That's the right thing to do, because Gawker Media was practicing clickbaiting. They made millions of dollars victimizing hundreds of people overnight. And a few of us had the money to fight them. But that's what they talk about free speech. Now labeling you Nazis or white supremacists is slander and libel. And we have the right in this country to sue them, and we will. And we will we not? Because part of free speech is truthful speech. Let me just finish up with a couple points. You know, we're all here because we stand, as I understand, pretty much everyone I've talked to stands for free speech, not fake news. And there are people on the stage, I may not agree with your views, but that's all right. We have a full spectrum of people here. We have people from the Green Party here. We have people, Bernie supporters here. We got people who believe in civic nationalism. I'm an Indian. I don't believe in the caste system. We got people of all different backgrounds here. They don't. They got people saying the same thing. And the organized event, organizers, I want to just mark out. Look, I've been a teacher at MIT. I got 4 degrees from the place. I just want to let you know that I have seen some of the most impressive young people here. And let's give them all a hand of applause. All of them. Woo! We have seen some of the most impressive young activists here who are really patriots. They want to get involved in the political system, not in the political system where it's narrow-minded and where the academics tell them what to do. Look, in 1982, I fought the KKK, okay? Right here as an activist. I fought racism at MIT when MIT had investments in South African apartheid. There's a picture of me burning the South African flags on the steps of MIT. Does that sound like a white supremacist?
No.
Does that?
No.
Exactly. I fought for women's rights at MIT, and I've opposed various wars. How many veterans are here? Yeah, these are proud veterans here. These veterans were sent to fight wars for the Clintons and the Bushes in Iraq. I was the first student at MIT in front of 10,000 people. I sent US out of Iraq. I don't think any of those guys did, because if Answer is out there, which they are, they have supported the Democrat wars. And they have admonished Republican wars. They choose which wars to denounce. What we have today, everyone, I think we all know that, is we don't have free speech. We have people who want to control speech. They want controlled speech. And it always starts, where's MIT and Harvard and those institutions? Which way are they? In that direction? Well, it starts from over there. You see the fake news. Behind fake news is the academics. And by the way, you know, they get hooded. They get hoods when you get your PhD. They're the real criminals in all of this. It's easy to attack the guys in the white pillowcases or their swastikas. That's easy. But let me tell you who the real criminals are who practice controlled speech. It's the academics. And I know these people well. I've been in and out of these institutions for 33 years. They manipulate real science. If you say anything against Monsanto, you will not get tenure at any of these institutions. Is that free speech? No. Is that free speech, everyone? You won't get tenure if you attack Monsanto. If you say anything against GMOs. You won't get you'll be admonished if you say anything against Hillary Clinton. You'll be admonished if you're a Trump supporter. I don't think this sounds like free speech, does it? No. It doesn't. And I know what it means in closing and all of the, you know, what segregation really means. I was denied water as an Indian kid because I was a lower caste, untouchable, deplorable. As a 5-year-old kid, does that sound right? No. Sounds like segregation, right? And when I fought the military-industrial complex, when the facts came out that a dark-skinned Indian kid in Newark invented email, it's the liberal media who went ape. Because in reality, they want to assume that all great innovations come from them, that it can't come from anyone here. And in closing, what I want to leave you with all my life, I believe again, I do not believe I believe in clean air, clean food, and clean government, and I'm here because I love this country. I believe that truth, freedom, and justice are what we all want. The establishment thrives on privilege, power, and control, right? That's what they thrive on. Our weapon is uniting against them and dropping truth. Uniting will destroy their control. I want everyone to say 3 times with me, an important word. That is why we're here. Love. 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 I want everyone to say this because I will come across to all of you over there. We'll come across to all of them. They want to come beat us, but we'll give you love, brothers and sisters. We are not one. We are one people, and we cannot let the power of darkness, which is actually power, privilege, and control, to destroy the light. Be the light, brothers and sisters, and know the truth, and know that we are here for the right reasons. We are here for love, love, love.
What we won't forget are the other words we've heard from the stage throughout history when we go to that bandstand tomorrow. From that stage in 1852, Frederick Douglass gave a famous speech on the meaning of the 4th of July, which we remember every single year. From that stage in 1965, Martin Luther King spoke the words that still ring true today. This is not a battle of white people against black people, he said. It's a struggle between the forces of justice and injustice. From that stage about 10 years ago, Barack Obama was running for president of the United States of America. We began to imagine the idea of a country with its first black president. Those are the words we will remember. Those are the words we will live by. Again, I urge everyone to be on their best behavior on Saturday if you decide to come to Boston Common.
We all share exactly the same objective with respect to tomorrow. The people have an opportunity to engage and gather peacefully, and that everybody goes home safe. But make no mistake, the state will support the city's efforts to ensure that public safety is preserved during tomorrow's events, however big or small they are, and wherever they're located. Folks have had a week to work on this. The scenario planning has been quite extensive, and both the city and the state have staging areas in place to ensure that whatever the requirement might be to ensure safety and peaceful assembly tomorrow, we'll be able to deliver. Now, Boston and Massachusetts are the home of some of the most important moments in the fight for freedom and equality in this nation's history. Tomorrow is one more chapter in that honored tradition. And we're going to do everything we can to make sure that tomorrow is about liberty and justice and about freedom and peace. And yes, the right for people to peacefully gather and assemble. But we will do all we can supporting the city's efforts to ensure that that is the message gleaned by those who participate at the end of the day.
I just want please, guys, everyone's going to have to start clearing out, okay? Conversation someplace else.
She's having a little
Because
dialogue.
Bryce tells me to.
Dialogue. I want to walk him up the fuck up out of here.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I totally disagree with you, but I respect you. But I respect you. Oh,
okay.
And look.
Fuck this nigga.
When he has the
Thank you. Fuck him. Fuck him. I'll move on this nigga if the boys were here. That's right, boy. We need that energy. Fuck him.
This is how we should solve our debates. With love.
But how does that solve anything? That ain't solve shit. Well, you hug them. So what? At the end of the day, don't do nothing for what the fuck they did to our people. Fuck. That's all I'm Where's the rest of his boys? Nick's is good too. I gotta wait until this clears out enough so I can do it. Because I parked underground.
Can you park where? Over this way now?
Underground. Yes. Operation to the wagon.
Why can you get brutalized?
Sorry? I'll take you to Sam's.
You guys going?
I'm going to take you to Sam's. My treat.
Can I ask you a couple of questions?
Come to the crib, man.
I've been in fights all my life growing up. They don't know how to roll.
Are you kidding me?
you fucking idiots! Go mutilate your body, you bunch of losers! Get the fuck out of my city, you piece of shit! Fuck you! You go home! You're fucking wrong! Fuck you! Fuck you! Get fucked! You fucking prick! Give me a kiss! Fucking short! It's not my fucking friend! Get the fuck out of here! 12 years old! You look like you're 12 years old!
I don't see any police in sight yet. This is kind of wild.
Fuck you! Fuck you!
Here come police.
Why? I mean, we already caught fucking Nazi scum! Fuck you! You're part of the problem!
It was the police were surrounding as I was going into the reactions. I realized the police came in the first place. The free speech was under attack, and that's
Back it up! Back it up!
Gotta go with their bikes, and this is a tactic that the cops often use to protect, make the grade.
Why were you punched in the face?
The guy didn't like my hat, apparently. That's what he said. Why was the woman killed in Charlottesville? I don't know. Because he didn't like your hat? That's a non sequitur, sir. You kill more people? What? I honestly don't know the motive of the driver. I still don't know all the facts. Fucking virgin! I will say that. Go back to my basement! What's your feeling on hate group? Back up. On hate group, I don't think that.
You don't think or what?
No, I certainly think that some people do believe in hate and those ideologies because it's a really big world out there. So there's room for all sorts of
How do you feel about hate?
Trump!